Okay, so good morning. It's September 4th, Wednesday, and you've had a whole week since you've been here. So you've probably forgotten everything we talked about previously, right? A little bit. So raise your hand, please, if you were able to successfully complete an exercise, not the digital drawing assignment, but complete an exercise, upload it, and get graded on it. Raise your hand if you've tried the exercises and you find them a little bit paralyzing. Thank you. Which one did you start with?
Well, I was just doing the scribbler one.
Oh, the scribbler one. So that's a project, and that was a little paralyzing for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't get it right.
Okay. And you've had a little struggle with it. You've
I just didn't know you wanted me to display it.
display it. Okay. All right. Um, what I think I'd like to do today is we're in week 2, and the lecture for week 2 is on format. And there's a few things I want to review for you. Actually, this is a relatively quick lecture now that I remember it. So I actually will talk about the format lecture today. But because we only have one day, we tend to fall behind. So what I'd like to do for today is I'd like to talk about the format lecture. I would then like to help you troubleshoot how to do your assignments and walk you through perhaps some of the exercises and re-walk you through the digital drawing exercise. How many people are having trouble with all the little pieces and components to it? Okay, all right. There's a lot to learn when you start this class. There really is. So that's how come I keep saying to you, I'll keep getting you in the flow of it because everything's going to be new. And some of it you're going to have to figure out on your own, but having the resources to do it hopefully is useful for you. So let's just talk about format for a moment. And we started, we actually talked about this briefly the other morning. So if you're at a computer, and I'd love for you to put your computer to sleep because there's going to be a lot of instruction going on this morning. That'd be great. So when we design anything, we always have to figure out what our goal is. What's our message? What are we trying to say? And then when we decide what we want to say, where are we going to say it? What guides us to say it? What defines it? And for example, if I'm designing a label for this water bottle, the format is the fact that the bottle is 12 inches tall by 4 inches wide, and it's cylindrical. And our message, even though we can go probably 8 inches around here for labeling, we're only going to be able to see maybe 3 inches on the face of the bottle. That's the format. It's our boundaries. It's what our design is confined by, right? And this only has it has a 2-color design. It has blue. And it has an underlayer of white because the bottle's clear. Actually, so 3 colors. An underlayer of white, it has blue on it, and then it has this little kind of yellowish green on it. So it's also confined by the color of inks, which is obviously defined by the cost of printing the label. Every color of ink is going to cost more money, right? So as you design things, in this class, you're going to design things for digital display. So your format is a monitor, is a cell phone, is an iPad. That's your format. And here, if you look at this stationary page right here, this is a single page format. And it was printed gray ink with 2-tone blue on the outside, was printed on one 8.5 by 11 paper, and then it was die cut using a blade and a drill to drill holes to create that shape for the format of the design, okay? So as you consider your designs, for example, when you create a letterhead or a logo design, consider that your logo is going to sit on a little 2-inch business card, probably take up no more than maybe 1 inch of the card itself, right? Half of the height, let's say here. But this logo may also, because this says, I think, fish, big fish. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a restaurant or a fishing company or a headhunter, right? Big fish, could be. You all know what a headhunter is, right? Headhunter is when you're looking for a job, and a headhunter is slang for somebody who helps do job placement for executives. So if you're a big fish, you know the metaphor big fish, like big fish in a
Small pond.
small pond, thank you. I was looking for that. Means that you're like the boss person, right? So maybe a headhunting company is called Big Fish, right? That'd be kind of cute, actually, instead of thinking that it's about going to a restaurant and ordering too much fish and chips or something. But anyway, so that logo, that Big Fish logo, might take up the side of a building, for example, if it's a restaurant. So that's the format. So you're always designing for format, and you have to consider the format as you design things. For example, this was a program for a city, and the format of it had to be economical, as 2 colors of ink, and they created a stationery package right here. You can't see it very well on the screen, but that same roof line right there is emulated right here on this stationery and invitation. And this mimics mission style of a building, this building, City Hall for Culver City. And those archways are what defines the building. And so those are die cut out, punched out. So the artist, which actually was me, and that's from like 100 years ago, like 20 years ago or something silly, but you don't have a lot of money, and if you're a city, you can't look like you're spending a lot of money. So thus it appears like it's a one-color design, even though there's that bronze metallic and there's a little black. But the wow factor was the fact that there was a die cut, a blade cutting out those arches and creating the roof line, which was what they were trying to accentuate. And same thing here, if you're creating a catalog, your format of the catalog is, you know, it's not online. That's a catalog, it's a book on paper. And is the catalog this size when you open it? Or is the catalog smaller? Is the catalog this size and you open it? Or is it a catalog that you want somebody to stick in their back pocket, right? Or like it's a map and you put it in your back pocket when you're hiking. Your format is going to be dictated by the use of something. So that's one of the design elements, right? What's the format of what you need to design? For this class, your next project, you know, your first project, the digital drawing, your format is 7.5-inch square. That's your format on a computer display. That's your format. Your next project is going to be a format that could be huge, because most of your projects are going to be large. I want you to consider things for large presentation. And this format of this catalog, for example, looks like an outdoorsy wilderness catalog, so it's probably on uncoated paper, not shiny, right? Because it'll feel organic-y and kind of environmental. It's got rounded corners, which paper doesn't come with rounded corners. Again, it has to be die cut with a blade to cut out these rounded corners. And somebody had to decide what the format is when you're creating a page that spreads all the way across the page for all that product line. Now, when you consider the format for things, for example, think about how much advertising is on the back of a truck or on the side of a truck. If you're putting your message on a truck, for example, and you have a lot to say, you're not going to fill up the side of the truck with type that's this big, because cars are driving past you, or you get maybe 1 minute in a traffic light. So whatever your message is, when you're designing for the format of something like a moving vehicle, you would have a really quick message. And here, all of you know, without even thinking about it, what that's for. You all know the product for that, right? Yeah, so Apple iPods. But again, that's a bus shelter. So the format for that design, the format for that message is somebody either driving past really fast, so you're looking at the silhouettes that you come to know as the Apple iPod, you know, listening to music image. But because it's a bus shelter, it's on glass, so the format of it is also translucent, lets light through instead of creating a dark environment for you to sit next to for the bus shelter. It lets the light shine through. So as designers, you always have to think about the format of what you're designing for, which will enhance and elevate your message. Now, this is one of my favorite ones right here because tell me your name second from the back this row.
Alana.
Alana. So do you know, can you tell back there what this product is?
No.
No? Okay. Is it pretty, the package?
Yeah.
Yeah. Colorful? Eye-catching? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. I think so too. Graphically interesting, super cool graphics, polka dot stripes, bright colors, fun. But you don't know what the product is. The product is, it says it on the label, it's a t-shirt. Now, would you buy that t-shirt in that package design? No. Why?
Because I can't see the shirt.
So what would you do?
Try to take it out.
Uh-huh. And then what would you do?
Hold up the shirt.
Uh-huh. Maybe try it on, hold it up, right? Right. And then what would you do when you're done and you decide the shirt was really ugly? What would you do with the shirt?
Shove it in. Shove it back in.
Shove it back in. If you were nice, you'd shove it back in.
Yeah.
If you weren't nice, you'd put the tube down, you'd put the shirt down, and you'd walk away, right? Okay, me too. I don't know which I'd do. I'd probably shove it back in. I'd feel guilty just putting them both down. But I probably wouldn't neatly fold it the way it was oh so cute. I imagine you pull the t-shirt out, it's probably got a pretty green stripe ribbon tying the shirt so it's round and rolled up, right? You pull it out and you untie the ribbon and then you hold up the shirt and you go, yeah, it's really ugly. And then you probably don't tie the ribbon back up. Maybe you roll it in and shove it in. Okay, so the reason I put that up there is I think it's really attractive packaging, but it's really impractical packaging. Because it's the same thing when you want to buy something in one of those blister packs that you have to stab at and get a hacksaw to open those plastic blister. You know what I'm talking about, all those electronics that won't let us access them. Same thing. You have to decide what your product is. What's your message? T-shirt, design. What is your product? How do you want it to look? How do you want people to relate to it? How do you want them to receive it? That's your job as a designer. What are you trying to get across? Well, I don't think that format of design communicates t-shirt. So I'm moving quickly through this lecture mostly because I think you get the idea. There's a fun little video here called Form Follows Function. For me this morning, I personally think form follows coffee, and I just didn't have enough. So I'm going to power through this, but I'm going to put our video on pause, and we're going to listen to Dawn Norman talk about design and format. Perspective on how you look at things and products and the format of how something's presented as to how we receive it. So as you design throughout the semester, you're going to have a variety of formats. They're going to be pretty predictable in the sense that you're either going to print something or it's going to be digital. But we have projects, and what I always say for all of your projects, as part of your criteria, one of them is my ta-da points. Remember my little ta-da phrase? Is that a familiar phrase? No? Yeah? No, it's not. Maybe that's an American phrase. Is that an American phrase? You don't know?
Yeah, I know. They say it in Sweden as well.
They say it in Sweden as well?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. So presentation is everything, which means the format of how you present things is everything. So after your first assignment, which is the digital drawing one, you're going to end up printing proofs of everything. And being that presentation is everything, you're probably not going to print it on a little piece of paper like this and put it on the wall, because we're going to end up critiquing each other's work together to learn from one another. So the larger you present something, the more polished you present it. When you print something, it never goes to the edge of the paper. You guys all know that. the ink won't go to the edge of the paper because ink can't on these printers go to the edge of the paper. So if your design goes to the edge of the paper and it bleeds off the edge, and that's the intention of your design, then you would trim your presentation. Presentation is going to be everything. And probably the scale of it, if you make a poster and your poster's 3 feet wide, you might have to print it on 3 sets of pages or something like that in order to make it the scale that you intended to display it. So just think about format as you design things. Now, where I'd like to head from here is, I am recording, is I'd like to review some of your assignments, some of your exercises. And I'd like to review your digital drawing because there's a lot of things that got thrown at you last week super fast. And I want all of you to feel really comfortable with the format. So again, just remind me, well, first off, raise your hand if you successfully have all the software on your computer to work with. Really high. So that would be Illustrator, InDesign, Acrobat Professional, and Photoshop. Okay. And who doesn't? So is that about money, time?
I was downloading it, but the download didn't work, so I have to, I guess, go on Adobe and buy the.
Oh, you were like torrenting it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it didn't work.
And it
so
didn't work.
I spent like a week doing like
Okay.
8 parts and forms.
Yeah. Okay. And software?
Doing the same thing.
Same thing. And it's not working.
Yeah, I'm just gonna find the right one.
Yeah, you got that's determined, right? Okay. And tell me your name again, Sarah.
Yeah. I have to update my entire system to make them work at all. So,
Your whole system software,
yeah, on
and on your Mac.
my Mac. Really old.
How old's your Mac?
5 years old, I think.
I had to do that. You have to get snow leopard, I think.
Yeah.
So you had to update your system software. Yeah, yeah. It's complex. I understand. Is
For
it
the-
Chad?
Yeah. For the student Adobe package, do I just go on Adobe and
Sign
Will
up.
I not be able to use it?
Say that again. I'm
I
sorry.
won't be able to use it, like, for example,
You can use it professionally. Is that your
for a
question?
whole year. I'll be able to use
Yes.
it. It's just $20 a month.
Yes. $19.99 a month.
But I'm committed to the full year. I can't.
Who signed up? Didn't somebody say you're committed to the year?
I mean, technically, but if you
Stop
remove
paying.
your credit card from there, it would just not work.
It wouldn't work.
Really, I don't
Right.
want to penalize you.
Yeah.
No.
And start with a 30-day trial. And, you know, the DAC lab is now open this week. So starting, I believe, I'm not sure their hours on the door. I haven't looked at it, but it's my guess is it's probably 10 a.m., 10 to 7, right? Weekdays, 10 to 7. So the software is all available in the DAC lab for you if you don't have it. The problem is as I told Paul when he walked in here, that it's a 40-hour commitment working with the software in this class. It really is. It's a huge amount of time. And so you're probably not going to have 40 hours to sit in the DAC lab anyway. You're going to do it at whatever random hours you do your work. So having access to the software is going to be really important. Okay, so before I promote my agenda with how to work through the software, who has questions or struggles or needs guidance or ran into a bump or something like that? Sam? And yours was with the digital drawing, or did you try the exercises too?
I did
The
the digital drawing.
Okay. And you have the software now on your computer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like did some emails and
Yeah, that's right. Now, I do want to show you, let me become a student here so I make sure and handle this properly. For those of you, when you turn in an assignment, you can go to the assignment link where you uploaded the assignment, and John or I, where we grade your work, will, this page would have your grade on it, and it will have comments that John or I have given you. And if you've uploaded the digital drawing early, right, before the deadline, as we've talked about, John and I are trying to look at all of these immediately and give you feedback immediately. And you should be getting 100% on this digital drawing, trust me. Nothing's ever going to get easier than this guy. The hard part is learning the workflow, but once you're meeting the criteria for this assignment, it's pretty straightforward. So you can look at your grades here. Were you able to look at the comments given to you? Okay. And so what I'd like to do is, would you like for me to start with a digital drawing one more time and walk through the process?
Yes.
Okay. I'll do it for you. Okay. And I have a question for you. Would you be willing to come up here and do the work as I guide you through it? Sure. Then come roll that chair up here, and I will walk you through it. Because there's a lot of criteria here. Come on over. Are you a Mac or a PC user? Okay, so Mac's a little second nature to you, right? Okay. Thanks for being game on this, okay? Are you right-handed or left-handed? Okay, good. All right, let me get you set up. So the software you're going to use for the digital drawing assignment, let's just reiterate, and I'm not going to have Sam do every step of this. But do remember, I want to remind you that even though nothing there looks like you click on it, you click on everything. Okay? Every assignment, this is what I call the assignment submission page in Moodle. So if I'm making a reference to it in notes to you or something like that, this is your assignment submission page. Click on here, usually the title of the assignment, and you'll come to what I call the assignment instruction page. Now, this is an old video here for the assignment, which might be missing some steps. I also, did it miss steps?
Yeah, it didn't help me.
It didn't help you. Okay. Also, if you go to johnlemon.info, is it typing up there? Okay. Every time we video record a class, like we're recording this now, our recording, John will post the recording right here. So that was last Wednesday's recording of the class where we did this demo. And if you're not in class, hopefully we get these up pretty quickly. But if we don't get them up fast enough, you can go to the bottom of this page, look for 110, and go to this link here and pick up the same instructions from a previous semester. Okay? So we're trying to have as many resources for you available even when you're not in class.
There are instructions at the top of the page for going to the raw videos before they're posted. You can go to my YouTube account.
Which is
Lectures are updated to YouTube
right
up there.
right. And so what happens is we'll end up uploading the video to YouTube before it arrives at this page. So if you go to John's YouTube link, it'll show you these videos. But what I'd like to talk about, and so I'm going to narrate through this. I'm not going to tell you the intention of this project. Is there anybody who doesn't remember the intention of this project? Is there anybody who missed the demo of this project? Let's start that way. Okay, great. All right, so I'm not going to review the whole thing because that'll be boring to you. What I'd rather just review is the workflow for this project alone. This is the only project where you're going to use an outside software like Scribbler. And you were familiar with how to use Scribbler, right? So Sam's going to, right now, click on the Scribbler link and quickly create something in Scribbler. We're not going to torture him. You could draw whatever you want, Sam. Draw something wonderful, though. Not that the pressure's on you. What do you do when you're not in school?
What do you mean? Like, what do
Well,
I draw?
like you're drawing a person? Oh, you're drawing a
Yeah.
person. Okay,
I
there you go.
like
I already,
characters.
oh, you already, man, you can draw well, can't you? Okay. So what Sam's going to do is he's going to draw something in Scribbler, and he's just going to do it. So one, he's going to stop right now, and he's going to take a screen capture. Don't do that yet. Remember how to do a screen capture? He's hitting Command, Shift, and 3, and he took a screen
I
capture.
did 4.
You did 4? Well, oh, there you go. And now he's marqueing it. But when you do Command, Shift, 4, just marquee the square.
Sure.
So do it again, please. Command, Shift, 4 will give you the crosshairs. And now he's holding his mouse down and he's marqueing it, and he's got that square. And we decided that square was 7.5 inches square, right? So it's a screen capture of his progress. Now he says he's done drawing. Now he's going to add color to it and go to Scribbler settings. See, you can tell Sam has spent time with this because he's moving so fast through it. You can see that he's able to navigate this. So now he's going to start to enhance his drawing. He's picked his word, his adjective that he's demonstrating, and go ahead, and he's going to start to add color to it. Okay, when he's done with his drawing, you can keep going, Sam, while I'm talking. Don't wait on me, just draw something. We're going to get to one final drawing for you.
Draw another thing.
And keep drawing in there, draw more in it, in that. Remember now, what's that?
I didn't know you could add to it.
You can add to it. You can keep drawing, and you can change the color midstream. So he could go from purple now to green when he wants to start drawing it again and resolve it. You can add to it. You can pause it. You can change transparency. That's why you have to play with this thing. And this is why I call it the great equalizer, because you have to learn. You just play and you learn. And he can change his colors now. He can go to something besides purple, right? Pick a different color. Oh, there you did. Okay. All right, and then you can pause it. And I recommend, and then after you've drawn it, you can change your colors and let it resolve itself again, right? Okay. And again, the format for this drawing is 7.5-inch square digital. There's no way to save the file, which is why we're taking screen captures. So you happy with your drawing? It's beautiful. The only thing I want to comment on about the format is use that 7.5 inches. Sam's doing this, he's winging it right now, so he's fine. But go from boundary to boundary to boundary to boundary. Use that square format. I was there.
Are Macs the only computers that take screenshots?
No. If you don't know how to take a screenshot, you go right here on the assignment page where it says how to take a screen capture, and then it says Windows screen capture, and it'll walk you through. Okay? So there we go. I didn't lose your scribbler, did I? Here we go. All right. So let's say Sam's totally done. He's going to take his final screen capture of this final project. And you're going to have at least 3 completed drawings, right, for your project. You know that, for this criteria. And all that criteria is spelled out on the assignment instruction page. And you're also going to have all your digital progress captured. Abby?
I just want to be sure. When you say 3 complete drawings, do you mean like 3 variations of one adjective or?
Really good question. Do I mean 3 different drawings of the same adjective, or 3 different adjectives and 3 different drawings? Is that your question?
Or 3, yeah.
3 of anything. You could use the same adjective and have 3 different drawings. You can have, don't make it the same drawing, because for example, if we're doing this face that Sam drew, maybe you get better and better at drawing the face, but that's still just one way of approaching a project. So have 3 different types of drawings, even if it's the same adjective. Or 3 adjectives, 3 drawings, that's fine. Okay? All right, so Sam's done that. So he's totally done with Scribbler, because let's say Sam has now done many screen captures and 3 different drawings and so forth. So you can close out a Scribbler. And we're going to go now, and what he's going to do is all those screen captures got set on the desktop. It's either on your computer called Picture, or it's called Screenshot. Each of you has different names for it. And you all know that as a part of your journal, you will have had your sketches you created too, correct? Everybody knows that. Okay. So now what Sam's going to do is he's going to start to take all of these components, his screen captures, which is his digital development, his scans of his sketches from his sketchbook, right? Do you have a sketchbook?
Yeah, I want to scan it.
Okay. Do you have a cell phone with a camera?
Yeah.
If you don't have a scanner and you need to submit your sketches, you use your digital camera and you take photos of it. Or there's a scanner here, and there's a scanner in the back of the room, and there's a scanner in the DAC lab. Okay? Nobody's off the hook for these journals, right? Okay. Tell me your name, please.
Alana,
Alana.
what kind of stuff do you want us to be sketching?
That's a good question. So let's go back to the lecture. Yeah, thank you. And in here, were you here on Wednesday when I did my little thumbnail sketches
Yeah.
up in the corner there?
Oh,
My
yeah.
beautiful art?
Okay.
It's brainstorming.
Mm.
Your sketching is brainstorming. So if your subject matter is
Something sweet.
sweets. Okay, so your adjective is sweet. So I would be sketching my dog. I'd be sketching a cupcake. I'd be sketching a maple tree. I'd be sketching, right? Whatever my mind association is of sweet. And that would be your brainstorming. So you remember my sketches from the other day. Okay, so that's your sketches. It's your brainstorming. Your journal is about you brainstorming. And the format for your sketches, because you know the format is a square, is you would sketch in a square and you would fill up the space. One of the things that's nice is the proportion of this image in that format, in that square. Okay, so what Sam's going to do now is go to InDesign, and he's going to launch the software for InDesign. And are you familiar with InDesign?
Yeah.
You are? Okay. So I'm going to walk you through it a little bit. Okay. I'm going to keep narrating for you, okay? So if you're not familiar with InDesign, we're going to talk about the InDesign workspace. So in the InDesign workspace, in the upper right corner, there's a little pull-down menu, and click on it. And it lets you work in whatever InDesign workspace you want to work in. Adobe lets you control the workspace for all of their software. So in the upper right corner, Sam can go down to the Essentials, up to the Essentials menu, and it reshapes the workspace. And if we don't like, because I had that Find and Change palette there, he can go back to Essentials, go to Reset Essentials, and go back to Reset Essentials. Oh, got to go to Essentials again. Okay, and now Reset Essentials. There you go. And it puts everything back where it's supposed to be. Can you close that window, please? Okay. Now, this is really nice having you here. This is good. Okay, so InDesign is a page layout program. The purpose of a page layout program is to merge graphics with text. And that's how you're going to combine all of your sketches, all of your digital progress, your design narrative for every project. This first assignment is about learning workflow. It really is. So here's the InDesign workspace. I can't work personally. I can't work in a single column. Do you work in InDesign? Do you like single column toolboxes or double?
This class is like the first time.
Done InDesign. Okay. So I like working in a double column toolbox, and that'll help me. So if he clicks on that double arrow, he's now created a double column toolbox. Okay? Now, we already know that the format for this project is 7.5 inches square, only because I told you. And we also know that we're going to have, do you remember this? You're going to have pages of your brainstorming, you're going to have pages of your digital development, you're going to have pages of your final presentations, and your design narrative. So Sam's going to create a new file new, a new document, and then we get this dialog box here. So on this dialog box, he's going to make the width of the document 7.5 inches square, and he's going to make the height of it 7.5 inches square. It's great. He's going to go to the top of the page and turn off facing pages, which is right there. Yep. And we have default margin guides, which are fine. We'll leave them as default for now. And we know that we're going to have, let's say, 5 pages at least. So he can already set up his document with 5 pages. And he's going to click OK. And we get a 5-page InDesign document. There we go. And what we're looking at now is the size of the page. The black edge is the trim of the page. And then this pink line is a margin guide, which does not print. We are right here at the bottom of the toolbox in normal mode. If Sam clicks over here in the toolbox, that's called preview mode. And notice the margin guide disappears because it's not a printable thing, right? Is this good for all of you with InDesign? Because InDesign's new to most of you, right? Okay. So now what we're going to do is this. Now Sam's going to go to the type tool in the toolbox right there. And everything in InDesign has to be placed in a box. You can't just start typing, nothing will happen. So Sam's going to go start at the margin guide, click and drag across margin to margin. Yep, not too deep, to the right, to there. Oh, you can lift up your mouth. Okay, hang on. You don't have to draw number then. So sit tight. So Sam drew a text box, and his text box is too small, right? So in order to change the size of his text box, he's going to go to the black arrow, which is the selection tool, and he's going to click on the text box, and if he pulls on a corner of it, yep, it'll enlarge the text box, okay? All right. And now, in order to type in it, he's in the selection tool, he's selected the text box, that's not good enough. He has to go back to the type tool. He's going to click in the text box now, and now he can start typing. And now he's going to type brainstorming. And just like when you're in Microsoft Word, you have to select your text. So he can click and drag over the text with his type tool and highlight it in order to change the font. And where he changes the font, right at the top where that A is up above, there, that's called the, hold it right there, perfect. That's called the character formatting panel. And that's where he can change the font. And right next to it, you'll see it has font names. Now, if he knows the name of a font, he could type it in there, or he can use the pull-down menu right there, and he can now use the scroll bar to find any font he thinks is attractive down below. And he gets to pick his font. Perfect. And then beside the name of the font, you have the font size panel, right where his cursor is up there. And he'll make this, because it's a headline, maybe 18 points in size. There you go. And then what he's going to do is he's going to place all his sketches there. So now, you don't place, if you have a text box that's active and if it's active, you place something in it, it'll delete your text and put the other thing in it instead. So he's going to go to the black arrow, he's going to click off of the text box so it's not active, and he's going to go to File, Place. Perfect. And he's going to find, let's do a Scribbler folder, because maybe I have some, and go to links in there and let's see what we got. And we're going to take my old stuff we demoed the other day as my sketches, okay, pretend. And he found his sketches, he clicks on it, he clicks open, his cursor loads, and now, because these are your journal sketches, they don't have to be that 7.5-inch scale, because they're your journal sketches. You fill the page however it's appropriate for your journal. And he can click and drag all the way from, let's say, margin to margin, that's up to him, and place his sketches. So click and drag, and that places the sketches in this document, and he can release it, and now a sketch is placed. It's placed, not pasted. And now he can go to the page panel on the right, because all his journal sketches are placed, and he can move down to page number 2 by double clicking on it. There you go. Now, because he already set his type, I made a mistake, because he already set his type for the brainstorming, I recommend he go back to page 1, click with his black arrow the brainstorming box, go to Edit, Copy. Now click on page 2, go to Edit, Paste in Place, which is going to put it in the same location. And now with his type tool, he goes to his type tool, he highlights the word brainstorming, and now he can call it digital development. So now you've done your work in progress, or work in progress, whatever you want to call it. Okay? Yeah.
So for the ta-da one, so that one has the typography in it. We're not supposed to put any other
Right.
words on it, right? But then the ones that are your digital development, we can put
Yes.
a text box that
Yes.
says phase or digital development.
Yeah, so
Katerina.
Katerina. So Katerina's question is, what can we put on the digital development page? Does it have to be perfect and pristine? And the answer is no. So right now Sam's going to do the same thing. He's going to move his cursor to the black arrow, to the black selection tool. He's going to click off the type box. He's going to go to File. He's going to place. Perfect. He's going to go to the desktop where all our screen captures were, right there. Double click on the desktop. There. And he's going to pick the first screen capture. Let's see, the 17. Yeah. And so he's going to, this is his digital development. He's going to click Open. It doesn't have to be at 100%. So maybe he makes it just like up to here. Keep going. Yeah, stop there. Right. And that's his first thing. So maybe what Katerina said is maybe what he's going to do is create a text box. Go to the type tool. Perfect. You're doing fabulous. And you're going to put a little text box beside this, small, because you're going to write a caption for this. Okay. And then write a caption of what you were drawing. So Sam's going to write something like, you know, Vicki was standing over me and she stressed me out, but I did the best I could with my drawing, right? Whatever. You're going to write what your intention is, first version or whatever. And you can place many of these on a page, is your question. And can
Okay.
you put a caption with them? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm looking, when I go for the digital development, I'm looking to know what software application you're in. So I want to see the software screen with your tools. When we get more sophisticated, I'm going to look for, when you work in Photoshop, you might have 100 levels of layers. I might want to see that. It helps me know how you work. It helps me know what you were doing. Okay, so Sam's now created his many digital development pages. He might have 10 screen captures.
And we can put them all on one.
You can put them all on one as long as I can kind of see them.
Okay.
And they could all sit here, okay?
How many does it need to be?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Like, how many does it need to be usually?
There would be like 10 of these.
And then these ones up here, like the sketchbook.
The sketchbook,
I took on my phone.
You would probably have, of sketches, you'd probably have at least a dozen sketches. I'm not sure if the assignment page told you. Did the assignment page tell you? What did it say, like 16 sketches or something? Overdo it. Overdo the sketches. Won't hurt, really. Okay, yes?
Can you maybe explain more about the journal, because I'm not really sure how we could start with it?
No problem. Let's go back to the lecture page. And let's go to here. And let's go to, where is it? One of these says journal. Let's,
Yeah,
is it up here?
it's,
No, let's go to course introduction. No, let's do that. Let's close that up. Let's go back to the Scribbler page, the assignment page. So go to assignment 1. That's okay. Here, I'm screwing you up.
oh,
Let's
shoot.
go. What you have behind me is the home. There you go. Okay, let's go down here. Let's go to number 2. Go to number 2. That's good.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's go to assignment instructions too. I know how to get it from here. Oh, you're in the wrong class. That's why. Here, let me get there. Let me get us there. That's why we can't find it. We're in the wrong class.
The sketches from the sketchbook, can they be on like one picture, like the Facebook?
Can your sketches be in one?
Like if they're on my sketchbook, they're on one page.
Yes, no problem. Our computer's not being happy right now. There it is. Okay. So here's the home page in Moodle for the class. And I'm sorry, I thought I had here it is. Here it is, right there, journal. Okay, that's the link I was looking for in week 1 where it says journal. And I do want to talk about your journals, what's expected of them. I'm sorry I wasn't clear. So the reason you're going to keep a journal is manyfold for this class. The idea is for you to start thinking about, you know how we started the first lecture with what's the message? What is it you want to say? Your portfolio for the entire semester is what you want to say, what you want to communicate. And it might be something as simple as, I wish to create a portfolio to highlight my graphic design skills, or Brandon, can I use you as an example, even though you're not in class yet?
Yes.
Okay. Brandon is a new father. His whole portfolio for this semester might become about his son, daughter,
Yeah, it's a daughter.
daughter, about his newborn daughter. So it might be focused very much on family, or it might be focused on children. It might be, his whole portfolio might be on children, but not necessarily his daughter. It might be on, like I said, something about youth. It might be about development. We don't know. But your portfolio is what you wish to make your subject matter about. And the reason you're going to journal, the question is, what are you going to put in your journal? Each project, each assignment, large assignment, not your little exercises, not the ones that are 100% or 0, right? But each assignment, you are going to have a goal for the assignment. You're going to have to troubleshoot it. So for this assignment, you need to pick an adjective, take that word, and make that word part of your composition for this assignment. So if your word is sweet, in your sketchbook, you would write the word sweet, and then you would make sketches associating what you think was sweet so you know what your graphic is going to be that you're going to create. And unless you sketch them all, you don't really know what's going to be most successful. You might think the best concept is a cupcake, but you might find that your best composition was the maple tree, as in sweet maple syrup, right? You don't know until you've sketched them all out. So what your journal contains is your brainstorming process. And the reason you keep journals is here. One of your assignments this past week was to read this, which is you keep a visual journal because it disciplines you. Because if you're an artist and you start to think visually, put it down on paper. Take the ideas that are ruminating around in your head, tumbling around, and put them on paper. And if you get accustomed to carrying a journal around, it's going to be nearby. And those ideas might morph from your anthropology project to your history project to your biology class to this class. Doesn't really matter. Put everything down on paper. Brainstorm it all. One thing might lead to the other. By creating a journal, you start to create almost your own chronology of progress. Your sophistication of your levels of your work, you get to see the development as you start to develop more software. You'll see that you'll have more terminology in your journal of how you might execute something as you learn the software and know how to describe it. So, for example, you might be sitting in class here and somebody says, well, I worked in Photoshop, I used this filter, this filter, this filter, I did that layer, I worked with this color palette, and you're going to start to hear terminology from them talking about it. And then as you start to journal chronologically, you'll end up seeing that your terminology and your level of sophistication with graphics increases. And here, number 3, when you journal, you can create a theme to your work. It helps you stay focused instead of just sitting in front of the computer. What I find for most of you, including myself, is that we're sitting in front of a computer and we have a blank screen, like a blank piece of paper, and we don't know where to start. And because it's digital, we bring something in digitally, like a photograph or something that we've stolen off of the internet, off of Google, and that's what guides us instead of our own thoughts guiding us. So by creating a journal and putting it down on paper first, it gets you there faster. You start to develop an intuitive awareness by journaling. You can try out new techniques in a non-threatening way, it says. So in other words, maybe what you decide is you want to explore, as you're supposed to in this journal for these exercises. Part of the assignment said draw lines. Do you remember that conversation the other day? It said draw expressive lines, busy, fast, create speed with a line, right? Create motion with a line, create static with a line, create an emotion with a line, like happiness. Think of what the line would look like if you were happy compared to the line would look like if you were angry, right? So your journal is a container for that processing. That's part of the exercises in your for your brainstorming. And then you can use word brainstorming, and if English is not your first language, you can use any language you want, right? It's your journal. It's your journal. And if, for example, you keep your journal and you learn something new in here, you can jot it down in here as a reminder. Somebody might post something on the wall and they say, I went to Kuehler, I grabbed the 2 Pantone matching system colors, the 2 PMS colors, and you never heard that term before, and you wrote it down and you created a reminder to Google it to figure out what it is. And your journal is yours. It's not for me. So anything can go in your journal. One student once asked me, can I use bad language in my journal, or unacceptable language, or whatever the term was that they want to use. The answer is it's your journal. You put whatever you want in your journal. Mostly what I'm looking for from your journal is that you've thought through a project and that it has become part of your process. What you'll find, some of you are breathtaking. I see you. I'll get right to you. I see some of you are breathtaking artists. Like I've seen some work already where I look at your artwork and it's just amazing, and it's in your journal. A lot of students are very refined in their journal, and you might choose to take your journal, scan it, not cell phone photograph it, but scan it so you have a professional level of resolution for your artwork, and then you might take your journal drawing and it becomes digital by scanning it, and you might enhance it with color. You might draw over it. You might use it differently. You might combine an old drawing you had with a new drawing that's topical. Whatever it is, the idea is that you learn to take your two-dimensional art on paper and bring your ideas in digitally. That help you? Okay. Any more questions before we switch back? Oh, yeah, tell me. Tell me your name, though. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's Sierra.
Sierra.
So-
I didn't mark you as here.
Oh, I'm sorry. But are we going to be handing in our journals to you like at a certain point? Are we
No,
taking
I will
pictures of
never
it?
take your journal. I don't need your journal. I need you to document your journal in your submissions to me, but it's your journal.
Is there a place where we're supposed to do journal submissions?
Yes, you will scan your journal. You will scan your journal pages, and that will be in the category that Sam created for us here, which will be how you start the introduction to each project with your brainstorming, which is where your journal scan gets placed. But you won't ever physically hand me a book. Okay? More questions? Okay. So Sam has now placed all his journal sketches that he digitally scanned in his brainstorming part of the InDesign document. He's now taken his many screen captures. I'm going to do this really fast, and I'm going to tell you what I'm doing, which is I'm hitting the Option key and the Shift key. I'm holding the Shift key down to deselect the artwork on top. Let's see. I just want these two down here. I'm holding the Option key and the Shift key. See that double arrow that came up? That's me duplicating boxes. And so maybe I decide that's the way to create multiple images on the page. And now Sam can click on box number 2. Go ahead, you do that. He can click on box number 2, and while it's active, he can go to File, Place, because it's active. And he can place the second screen capture, go one up. Oh, is that the second one?
They're both
That was the
the same.
final. They'll go one up middle. Yeah.
It's
the same?
Yeah.
Oh, I see, it's the same.
Not yet.
So, okay, so go to that one, you're right. Okay. And so then notice how it replaced it in that box, right? So because the box was active, it put the new artwork in there. So because I duplicated the boxes, every time you create a box, you don't have to create a new text box for it, okay? Now he can open the panel to the pages. Tell me your name again. Martine.
I'm just curious,
The
so
bottom
did
corner.
it totally erased the previous image?
Yes, totally disappeared. Yes. So now he clicks on page 3, and now he's going to put in his final presentation. Is that stretching?
Yeah,
Okay. And he's going to File, Place. Right. Right, perfect. And he's going to get his final project, the presentation one. That's okay if it's the same, it doesn't matter. We're faking it. Go to open, and he's going to go to the upper left corner here because we know, and you're not going to drag, we know it's 7.5 inches square. He's just going to click. And it filled it up because we knew it was 7.5 inches square. Now that's placed at 100%. That's his final presentation. You don't need to tell me it's your final presentation. I'll know because it's filling the page, right? And now he's going to go open the page panel deeper, right here in the bottom right corner, pulling down. There you go. And he's double clicking on page 5. And if he goes back to edit, paste in place, I think it's in his memory, right? Because it's still in the memory when you copied it before. Remember that? You followed that process? Okay. Now he can double click with the type tool and highlight the word brainstorming. You need a type tool, right? And he's going to type design narrative. And then he's going to hit a hard return, hit the return on the keyboard. And now in a new font size, not the headline font size, like maybe a 12-point size or something like that, he's going to start to tell me what his concepts were, what software he used, how he applied the design principles in his drawing. Certainly one of your design principles and design elements, one of your design elements is line. Another design element you probably chose is color. You used red because of anger. You used blue because of the association with relaxation. And you're going to type your design narrative on your final page. Now that he's done, he's going to go to File, Save.
Save or save as?
Either one's good for the moment. I see, yeah. And he's going to type his name. And then he's going to type digital drawing so I know what assignment it is. Let's place this on the desktop for the moment. And he's going to save his document. Yes. Tell me your name again.
Holly.
Holly.
I have a question. I'm kind of confused. So, like, with the 3 projects, do we have to do 3 different, like, brainstorming kind of progress things?
Yes.
So, like, each different
You
one?
can combine them all together.
Okay.
And you'll have
So-
3 final presentations.
It can be all combined together, or we could do 3 different ones.
Yeah.
And
However
then
you-
with the narrative.
However you choose.
Okay.
So Holly's question was, because there'll be 3 submissions, 3 final drawings, do I have to brainstorm one concept, digital progress one concept, present one concept, or can I have all my brainstorming one big thing, all my digital progress in one big thing, and then 1, 2, 3 of my final drawings? Yes, either. It's your submission. Whatever makes most logical sense to you. That answer you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Chad,
you were saying you want about like 15 or so
sketches.
and then for the digital process or progress, about the same.
That's a lot. It's overkill. Probably it's overkill. I want the point to be that I want your digital development. Don't.
Every line.
Yeah, I know exactly. What Sam said is every line. I don't want you to be backed into a corner with you need 17, and if you have 16, I'm giving you an F. Okay? Don't misunderstand it.
But like, what do you like? Basically, I'm not.
This
saying
is a super simple assignment.
Yeah.
This is come up with some ideas, practice, practice, practice so you're happy with your finals. And as you're doing your work, take some screen captures that show me something. Okay? What's going to happen is in this assignment, your process is, in all truthfulness, not that important. This assignment is very much about you understanding workflow. Our projects in the future are going to be more complex. And you, Chad, might work in Photoshop, and Martine might work in Illustrator. And because you take screen captures of your work in Photoshop, and I might share your work with a class, Martine's going to learn something by seeing how you worked through your project. That's what the point is. That's the point. Sometimes you guys will end up creating a project and you'll take screen captures of your work as you do it, and you'll get to your final result and you'll hate your project. And then you'll be so frustrated because you're such a meticulous person, you'll go back to the drawing board, start again, create another project. But because you have all that digital progress to show me, I know that even though your final project looked like you knocked it out in an hour, I see by your digital progress that you were sitting at that computer a really long time. You know what I mean? So it's mostly about you documenting your process and communicating how you worked through a project. That's what it's about. So I'm not counting how many submissions there are. I'm not counting your thumbnails right now. I'm not counting how many how many screen captures you're including. I'm looking for the workflow. Okay? It'll become more obvious as we look at people's work.
So we need 3 scribblers? Like
3 final Scribbler presentations in one PDF, yes. Okay, so Sam, more questions before I, yeah.
You wanted us to
Johan, right?
James.
James.
You wanted us to integrate the word into the image.
Johan. James, do I want you to integrate the word into the image?
Yeah,
Most definitely.
Okay.
Instead of just slapping it on there. And do it in Scribbler, which is really hard to do, right? As you all know, right? Okay. So now Sam has his multiple pages in InDesign, and he saved his document. Now there's something really important to do. He has all these screen captures, he has his scans. The way for you to stay organized in this class and for all your final portfolio is the fact that you're going to package your completed project. So Sam has completed everything, he's met all the criteria, and there's something in InDesign called packaging. And when Sam goes to File Package, he gets a dialog box that tells him, so don't do this yet, he gets a dialog box that says all of his links are found. Nothing's modified and nothing's missing. That's what you want. If they're missing, they won't print properly. If they're not linked, they won't print properly. If they're modified, which means you made a change to a file that's in there, you went back to it, you changed it, you need to update it and relink it. So right now, plus he wrote with text. I don't know what his font was he used. Was it Brush Script? He used Brush Script, and so it's going to take all of those screen captures and final project graphics. It's going to take all of his fonts. It's going to package them into a single folder, and it's going to put them all together in one folder. And that's what you want because it's going to help you keep track of all your files. So now in the bottom right corner, he clicks the word package, and then it says there's an instruction window which you can ignore. You can hit continue, and then it takes the name of your file, changes the name of your file, adds the word folder to it, and you're going to put this folder somewhere you know how to find it. What I would do is make one master media design folder. So in the bottom he can go new folder. He can type media design in there, because this is on your own computer. He's going to hit create, and now he's going to double click on the media design folder, because now that's going to put the package for digital drawing in his media design folder, and he's going to package it. And it says don't steal the fonts and don't sell them. And you say okay, I won't. And now it's gathering all of this documentation, and he's done. And he can close his InDesign window and minimize that. Yeah, perfect. And there we go. All right. And now, can you close that guy up? Yeah, hang on. All right. So now he has his media design folder right here in the upper right corner. He double clicks on it, and let's see what's in it. That's the beginning of the entire class folder, and if he uses the turn down arrow, we can see that it took our original InDesign document, which is sitting here. So look, the original InDesign document's in the upper right corner. So it copied it, and it put the most recent version here. And if he clicks on the down arrow for the fonts right there, you'll see Brush Script got moved in there because that's the font he used. And then if you use the down arrow for links, you'll see that all of his screenshots that he placed in that InDesign document got copied and moved there also. And what that does is it organized everything and kept it all together.
But just once organized, once it's copied, we can erase the.
So
current-
once it's copied, as long as everything's current, all this chaos around here is your question?
Yes.
Can you trash that? Absolutely, because it's in your package. And then you don't have too many duplicate files. That way you know it's the most recent.
Now, the other question was, when it says, how would it be missing? Let's say you have everything found.
How would it be
there's
missing?
one
I'll show you. Let me show you. Watch. So I'm going to move this links folder. And I'm going to trash these files. And I'm going to trash that. Okay, so I trashed everything I know that I already backed up, right? Okay. And I moved that links folder so it doesn't know where it is. It's kind of like a path. When you, I don't know if you know web design, but when you create something and you can't find a web page not found, it means the web page disappeared or it got moved. Well, I just moved the links. So the path to those links, InDesign knew how to get it because they were found. But the path to it now, InDesign won't know where it is. So when we open InDesign and we go to the links folder here, oh, it saw us move them, I think. Okay, let's do this differently.
So basically, my question then is if you trash something in between before you package all
It's,
that.
you're way out of luck.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. That then that's what it would say missing.
Yep, it'll
That's-
say missing, but
Or
I
if
wanted
you-
to show you how to update it.
If you
Okay,
move it
here you
from a
go.
different folder,
There you go. So I moved the links folder so now it couldn't see it. See all those red stop signs up there under links? And how I found that links folder was I went to Window and I went to Links. There's the Links panel. Here's the Links panel. Okay, so Sam's going to relink it for us and I'll show you how you do it. So you highlight one of the graphics right here. Click on it. And then you go to the chain link below. And it's going to give you a dialog. Click on it. And it's going to give you a dialog box. Now I happen to put them in the work folder and in the links folder. And this one's called 11/24/25. So he clicks 11/24/25 and opens it and it's relinked. And then what it says, now look at this. It says, you know what? When you found that one, I found all your other links. Do you want me to relink those too? And you said, yeah, I do, please. And you say, okay. And then notice that all those red stop signs that showed up in the link panel doesn't show anymore because they're properly linked. What you always want is to have everything packaged and properly linked. Because if it's not linked, it won't print well and you've lost your artwork basically. Okay. Now, what Sam has is everything properly linked. He has it packaged, etc. Now he's going to go to File, and he's going to create a PDF of this entire document with all the place graphics. So he goes to File, and he goes to Adobe PDF Preset, High Quality Print. And then in his folder of everything he created, it takes your document name, it gets rid of the suffix INDD for InDesign document. It replaces it with PDF, which is a portable document format that's readable by anybody, anywhere. And he says save. And then he's going to view it after exporting to make sure he put all of the right information there, correct? And he says make sure he has all pages selected, which he does, and he says export. And now it's going to pop up, and because the default on these computers in preview, it's not going to open it in Acrobat. But we can see that all of his pages are completed, right? All right. Now, in order to submit your work, to make sure that you have said, you have self-evaluated yourself, okay? What we're going to do is this. You can close that one up. Remember, on each assignment page, let's go to here. Let's go to the assignment submission page. Try this one. There you go. And go backwards one. And go to assignment 1 is what I want. Where is it? It's down here, I think. Digital drawing. Digital drawing. There it is. Okay. On every page, see where it says evaluation checklist form? Click on that, please. The form doesn't vary. So once you've downloaded the form once, the form doesn't vary. I'm trying to think if it varies ever. I don't think so. So Sam can hit the save button and save this form to his packaged folder of his, where did we move it? Oh, media design. You're in media design in here. And he can save this evaluation form right there, right? Same form. Okay. And then what he can do is go to Acrobat Professional, bless you. Actually, go backwards here. Let's get out of here. Thank you. Okay. Now Sam's going to go to Acrobat Professional. He's going to go to File, and this is how you combine the evaluation form with your final multiple page project. I will only accept one PDF file submission. Do not give me screen capture separate. Don't give me a zipped folder. Imagine if you have a 12-page document in InDesign and you give me one page at a time. And then you zip them all together. And there's 30 of you in this class, and each of you gives me 12 files for one project times 30 people, 360 files for me to look at. Don't do that. Okay? So what Sam's going to do, he's going to go to, in Acrobat Professional, not Reader, he's going to go to File, Create, and then he's going to go to Combine Files into a single PDF. And then a dialog box is going to come up. I don't know why it didn't. Let's try it again. File, Create, Combine Files into a single PDF. We did it right, that's for sure. Let's see what happened to us here. All right. We're in Acrobat Professional. Create, combine files into a single PDF. I don't know why we don't have a dialog box here. That's really, really, really weird. Okay. Okay, I'm relaunching it to see what's going on. Okay. Go back to File, Create File, Combine Files into a single PDF file. I should get a dialog box, which is not showing, which looks like it's this thing. How weird is that? How would I have found that, right? Isn't that the strangest thing you saw? Okay, Sam's going to do this now. So now what he goes to in the upper left corner is he goes to Add Files in the upper left corner. And he goes to Add Files again. And now he locates the evaluation score sheet that he filled out, right? And the evaluation score sheet got put in the Media Design folder. Go to Desktop, Media Design, there, Media Evaluation Form, right? He adds that file, which he already filled out. And he goes back to Add Files again, locates the final composite, of his digital drawing. He adds that. And then he combines all the files. He will never call it binder, which is what they name it. He will now, you can also fill it out here if you forgot to fill it out. But you'll notice that, because it's still a form, and now we see all, so scroll through your pages, just keep, here, let's hit Command 0. Thank you. And now he can click through his pages. There's an up-down arrow over there. And he can make sure that he has all of his work in there, right? And that's his final submission. Now he's going to save it with the proper name, which will be his last name, and then it's going to say, you can call it a binder because it's your final project, or you can just call it Sam Digital Drawing, and I'll know. And he'll save it as a single PDF, okay? Perfect.
No, I call it Scribbler, doesn't matter.
No, just as long as your name's on it. and you can identify the project. And then now he's going to upload it to Moodle. And how he uploads it to Moodle is like this. He's going to he's going to delete the old submission because it wasn't complete. Give it a moment. And it says, yeah, I want to delete the old submission because it wasn't complete. And he's going to choose the file to re-upload, and he's going to locate it in the media design folder. And he knows the final one that he did, right? And he chooses it, and then he uploads it, and he waits. I will not look at a screen capture PNG file. I won't look at JPEGs. I won't look at InDesign native INDD documents because I'll have a different InDesign software than you guys work with. The only file format for these is a PDF file. That's your file format unless your assignment tells you differently. And we're still waiting for it to upload because I didn't see it named there, and it needs to have an X next to it. Okay, so that's again the workflow for digital drawing. Does that clarify stuff for you by doing that?
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of, a little bit. Yeah, Chad.
The evaluation checklist, when you download it, it's just, you can click on it, or you can put it into a program to be able to check marks?
No, it's a form. So if you read it in Acrobat Professional, not Preview, but Acrobat Professional or Acrobat Reader, you can fill it out.
When I filled it out, and then I tried to submit it, it would erase what I filled out.
You have to save it. Save it with a new name after you fill it out. It'll save what you filled out. So have one blank one that you can use on all your projects and fill it out because they're not going to be identical project to project. They're not. And they're not going to be yes, 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 yes. Trust me. Even though everybody thinks they should put that there. They won't be. Thank you for helping me. I appreciate it. Are there more questions about the workflow? That's really what this was about. This wasn't about the creativity of the digital drawing. This was about the workflow for your assignments. No more questions? Okay. So do you have energy for me to demo some software for you? What software? Is there a software you might like me to demo for you? Like we've been working in Illustrator for those exercises. Would you like Illustrator demoed? Who's new to Illustrator? Okay, I only see this. I don't see this. Okay, so who's new to Illustrator? Have you done the Illustrator exercises yet? Did you find them difficult? A little difficult, but not unmanageable. Okay. Is there anything that somebody came across that they want me to demo? Really? Here's your chance. Yes?
With the pen tool one, when I was trying to go up to the next line, it would draw a line between the two.
Yes, it does. You're right. Let me launch Illustrator.
Unclick the pen tool and then
Tell me your
click it
name.
back up.
Edward. So Edward totally got it. What he said is, he was using the pen tool, he created the shape. When he went to the next thing to draw, it drew a line from the previous shape to the new shape, right? Or letter, or whatever it was you were doing. But he found a workaround, which was he went back to the pen tool, clicked on it, which gave it a fresh start, and then he was fine. That was the most perfect thing you could have done. That's exactly what you do. So you're stellar. You figured that out. Perfect. Any other questions coming up for anybody of what you'd like me to demo? Okay, then I'm gonna pick what I want. How's that? I do want to call attention to something, another assignment that you have that shows up this week. And because this is a short week, I don't want this to disappear. Which is, you have two assignments in this class where you're going to write about something, and in this one you're going to grab your own images. And this is called Communicating the Message Publicly. And again, click on everything to figure out what the heck you're supposed to do. And right here, all of us every day, like we talked about Chad's black t-shirt the other day, right, Chad? Was it your t-shirt? Okay. All of us decide what we have to say in the world. And actually, I have a project where I take photographs of people who have signs. And if they let me take photographs of themselves, I do that too. Or sometimes I just take photographs of their signs, because I'm always surprised. Oh, you know what? I have to. So that video is really simple and straightforward. It says it all. Your goal in this class is to think about what it is you have to say and what's the most effective way to say it, right? Doesn't that kind of hit home for you? That sign? And what I find is, we're all creating messages every day, and we're putting them out in the world publicly every day. And so you have an assignment here, right here. It's a forum assignment, which is a discussion board. And so you're going to have to upload a picture, and you're going to write a narrative, your own words about it. And what it is in regards to is this assignment. So in order to see the other student work that's posted, you need to post yours in order to have access to this discussion board. And what I want you to do is watch this video called Before I Die, I Want To. This artist right here, her name is Candy Chang, and she decided she wanted to make communities more emotional, less personal. Kind of like that little video, The Power of Words, we just saw. And so she started an art project that got funded, and it's called Before I Die, I Want To. And it's all about creating public space. And so I want you to be in the community, and I want you to look for something that alters a public space because of the message that's there and how the message is presented. For example, I was in Seattle, and there was this guy, and he was standing there, and his sign just, I looked at it and I started laughing, and I couldn't help but totally stop, of course, give him $1, because I thought, think how we all casually walk by people because we become so immune to their signage and their plight, whatever their plight is. And there's a friend of mine. Is there anybody here who's familiar with ghost bikes? Okay. Well, ghost bikes are interesting. Anytime a cyclist dies, there is an organization called ghostbikes.org, and they place bicycles at the site of where that cyclist was killed. And I learned about ghost bikes because a friend of mine's son was killed on a bike as he was riding to take a test in college, as a matter of fact. And he was most of your ages. And the ghost bike got put up. Nobody requests it. It just appears. And it becomes an homage or a memorial to the person who died at that site. It becomes public art. And it becomes a statement because it becomes incredibly powerful. I know by the highway you've all seen shrines and candles and flowers and teddy bears and things when somebody's in an accident or somebody's killed in an accident. People will create a memorial or site to them. Well, Ghost Bike's kind of the same thing. But it's also public art. It changes a public space where you can't walk past that sidewalk, see a white bike, and not understand that something transpired there. And we as graphic designers are forever creating messages that stop people somehow and create an impact. In Los Angeles, they had different artists decorate pianos and put them in public spaces, and they just sat there. And people would come upon them, and it would transform a space, because not only are you looking at art, the piano, which now becomes sculpture, but you transform space because of how people interact with the piano, correct? So somebody might sit down who might be truly gifted at what they do and play beautiful music on this piano. And some kid might get up there and play chopsticks and put a smile on your face for the day, because you've transformed public space and you've created an impact on your community. And So what I want you to be on the lookout all semester long, because whenever you happen upon this, you're going to take your cell phone out and snap a picture. Or one day you might just be on a mission somewhere and carry your camera with you all the time and look for things that transform space. Do watch the video. I don't want to use our time right now. Do watch Candy Chang's video on Before I Die, I Want to. Because of course it takes an action in order for us to act sometimes, or it creates, or something that has happened, and something happened to Candy Chang, which made her decide what she wanted to communicate publicly. So this is an assignment that shows up only here in this week of the class, which we have so brief. So in Unit 2, right here, here's the link to communicating the message publicly. So although it doesn't show up throughout the semester, and although it doesn't really have a hard deadline for you, it is something you are required and graded on to do. And I think that you'll be in awe of what people stumble upon and how it impacts you. Okay? So I want to call attention to that. And then I've done a lot of talking. So I think what I'd like to do, instead of demoing any more of the projects and exercises, I'd like to allow you the next 20 minutes to get on the computer, ask John and I for assistance if there's something you're unclear about. But hopefully you refer back to these videos so you have a resource when you're not here in the coming week. Let's look at your deadlines, as a matter of fact, for these assignments. You have, on Monday is when your final digital drawing should be submitted, okay? I see a lot of you have done these exercises and I compliment you. I can't emphasize enough, don't wait until the unit to do these exercises. If I were taking this class today, knowing what I know today, I would do every single exercise I possibly could get my hands on as quickly as possible. And you, for example, Miss Katerina, are in 210 and wonder how to do interactive PDFs.
Mm-hmm.
There's an assignment here called multi-state button exercise.
Okay.
You'll learn it, right? Any other questions before I leave these pages? No? Okay. So then I'm going to turn on